It has been a whirlwind of a stewardship season. My initial plans to have full crowds of St. Anne's people at church having really rich discussions about 4 big questions did not go according to plan. I happened to have the wonderful timing of having one of those Sundays happily at the time where the women were on the women's retreat, which means, like most churches, 2/3 to 3/4 of the congregation are gone. Gents, it's our turn to get more of the fellows in the place, but that's another story another time. Not your fault. Y'all are here and thankful for being here. And then we realized the bishop's election is coming up. Y'all need to know what's going on. Y'all need to be made curious to go and find out for yourselves what's going on, so that we, the 3 of us who are delegates to convention, know how best to represent you in our votes for who should be the next bishop of the Diocese of California. This week, yay! We have a chance to explore. But before we do that, because of course nothing is one thing at a time this month, you might have noticed the American flag is back in our sanctuary for today. I am a huge proponent of maintaining separation of church and state. That will never change. That is one of my bedrocks. It is vitally important to me that we as Christians allow the Constitution to be supported and defended, the highest calling of any of our veterans, and to ensure that we vote based on our conscience, but we make sure that we allow for all of America to be represented. However, this day is a day that has 2 meanings, one that we in America often forget. The original celebration or honoring of this day was Armistice Day, the ending of fire, war, and bloodshed in World War I. What we'd hoped would be the war to end all wars. No. World War II, millions more died. And so we made sure we honored that along with our brethren and sisters in other parts of the world that lost thousands of millions of people during World War I and World War II. President Dwight Eisenhower decided to change the name with Congress in the 50s to Veterans Day to honor our troops in particular. And that's a wonderful thing. My hope is that we understand that with our dual citizenship as citizens of the United States of America and as citizens of the kingdom of God, that we honor and support those who put themselves in harm's way to defend the rights of that Constitution, to defend the rights of that flag, the ideals that it stands for, even when we don't always measure up. I don't know if anyone here is a veteran. If you are, please stand up. Ian, we've got Giancarlo. Bless you and thank you for your service to whatever nation you served. And one of the things I hope for as we move forward in honoring our veterans is part of what today's question is. How do we care for our community around us? One of my ardent hopes, I give thanks for the fact that you both are in relative comfort in your lives. And there's another veteran who just jumped on, our beloved Ray Mena. Is that we take care of those who come back from war as well as those who have survived war. And that not only we honor the service and sacrifice, but we ensure that if you have risked everything for a cause, you get cared for, you get dignity, you get support, you get the things that you need. And that's one of the areas that we can try to continue to pursue as a church, is supporting mental health care, physical health care, and support and job placements, things along those lines that a lot of veterans have been denied, because we do a great job of preparing people for battle, but we don't always do a great job of preparing people for civilian life. Thank you, Layla. And that's all I'm going to say about that, other than I give thanks for the opportunity to have the dual citizenship that I have. And I give thanks that I have the freedom to speak on these things, and that we have the freedom to disagree and still support one another. May we ever and always honor that profound truth and gift. And if you disagree with me, excellent. Not right now, but later on if you wanted to have a conversation. I welcome differences and differences of perspective and opinions, because that means we're diving in more deeply in what it means to be beloved community. And that is what I cherish the most. Thank you for that one sermon. Now for sermon number 2. So, like I said, very quick review. 2 years ago, we looked at discipleship. What does it mean to have our lives and our relationship to God? How does it play out in our lives? How does St. Anne's affect that? And what would happen to our discipleship if we didn't have this community? Last year, we looked at calling. What makes you truly come alive in your relationship to God? What makes St. Anne's truly come alive in its relationship to God? And what would Fremont do if it didn't have that community and its calling? And this year, cultivating practice. Okay, we've talked about the abstract concepts of these things. How do we practice it? We talked a little bit one week about both caring for the buildings and grounds. We're going to have a cleanup day coming up soon. I really, really encourage you all to be here for that if you absolutely can. And also for caring for one another. One of the things that I instituted a couple of years ago for the vestry that has kind of fallen flat, and I'm going to try to bring that up this coming year, is asking every vestry member each month just to contact 3 people in the congregation. Doesn't matter how. Email, text message, phone call, go grab a coffee, go grab a flavored seltzer water, as one of our bishop candidates put it, or whatever beverage you prefer. But this week, I want to think about what that calling brings to us. What are new ways to connect Fremont to our parish community? And also how to flip that. What are new ways to connect our parish community with Fremont? A few weeks back, we went to the Vital and Thriving Day, and one of the speakers there said a statement that I thought was very profound. We in Christendom, or in the church, we love to host. We are very comfortable with hosting. Our assumption is that we are compelled and called to host people, to invite them in and be good hosts and be hospitable to them in our homes. What we are not good at, what we are not comfortable in, is being hosted. How are we going out into the community and allowing other people to invite us into their lives? And how do we share what we have to offer with the community around us in their homes and in their places? Questions to ponder, to think about how we be community both internally but also externally. Again, one of the best things about this parish is the beauty of the grounds, the serenity that you find when you're here. If anything, I have trouble focusing on work when I'm here by myself because the place is so relaxing. It's a wonderful problem to have. But it is also focused inward by virtue of the energy of the labyrinth, which is not a bad thing. And how do we get our attention focusing more outward as well as inward? And also, how do we, when we go outward, bring people to the wisdom, the spirituality, the comfort, the peace, and the transformation that is represented by this labyrinth out front? By out front, I mean in the center. But most importantly, as we talk today, what is your lived relationship with God? What makes you come alive in God? How can we take that? Let's ponder those together in our groups and figure out how to apply that so that we share that with Fremont and share Fremont with us.